everybody. Welcome to Adobe Office Hours. This week, we are bringing you all of the chaotic energy.
You probably heard my little, I didn't realize we were on live there at the very beginning.
Yes.
What is an episode without that, though?
It's true. I really feel like
Let's
this week is sponsored by chaotic energy, and I'm kind of here for it. I think it's going to be a fun show, everyone, today. We're going to get really conversational today and get to hang out, right, Nick?
I know. It's great. Hey, could we consider Office Hours an NFT?
Oh, yeah. Yes, Adobe, can we start NFTing episodes of Office Hours? That would be great.
The first Creative Cloud, video.
That's true.
That would be some.
The first Adobe Live NFT. I will take it.
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. We're taking bids right now.
Right now. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's welcome everyone in chat. If you're in chat, say hi. Hi, chat. You're over here today. Usually you're over here. So it's cool to see you in a new spot. Nick, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us about the show.
Let's get back to business.
Let's get back to business.
This is Office Hours to the rescue, and what we're doing is we're helping folks with their design dilemmas, giving us some videos and some kind of we're almost considering it the hotline, right? Like giving us some really good stuff to dig deep into and spend a whole episode helping you guys out with the problem. We're picking stuff that's really great in general to everybody, really, regardless of how specific we get with these things. And this is season 4 of our tiny little show, almost coming up on a year anniversary. I can't believe it, man.
We are a month away from our 1-year anniversary, and I'm so excited about it. It's going to be a fun time. Yes, Cody, thanks for dropping our Instagram links on there. You can follow us on social media. Nick's link is right there, and my link is right there. And all y'all, we need to give some premature appreciation for our friend Cody. Cody is going to be dropping a lot of links today. Someone who is exuding chaotic energy today did not approve all of the links to Cody. So Cody's going to be on the hunt just a tiny little bit. So let's all just give a clapping hands to Cody before we get started, because it's going to get, again, a little chaotic today. All right. So today, Nick, what are we doing? What are we talking about? And what's going on Office Hours to the Rescue?
Should we take the call, or should we introduce it a little bit more?
Oh, actually, we have giveaways to do before we take the call.
Oh, that's right.
We do. We have giveaways. Okay, so Nick, what's the giveaway? What are we doing with that? What's the deal? Tell us about it.
I think you know it probably better than I do.
All right, cool. So we're giving away a free year of Creative Cloud subscription. And the homework that we did, that we posted in our Discord last week, which y'all can find right here. If you want to, you can check out our Discord. That's a weird screen. Let's try this screen. That's better. You can check out our Discord. The link is right there for you. And the Discord's where we hang out after the show. I believe there's a voice chat right now. There are a couple of people hanging out in there if you want to go hang out as well. And we hang out, do homework after the fact, and after the show, we usually do a little bit of a giveaway. And so we asked you to help us promote the show by posting on social media. And one person went above and beyond and is going to be our winner of the free year of Creative Cloud. Nick, would you like to do the honors?
Yes. We're awarding this to our buddy Frank.
Yes.
I'm going to say Biumi.
I think that could be it.
Pretty close.
Yeah, Frank.
What a cool little post he put together. That was so cool.
Yeah, so a nice little GIF linked to the show. So thank you so much for helping us promote the show. We appreciate you, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a follow, and I will send you a DM, or if you are in chat, let us know that you're in chat, and send me a DM, and we'll get you hooked up with that free year of Creative Cloud. Congratulations. Oh, yes, a lot of people are tagging, so send me a DM anywhere on Behance, wherever you want. Yes, and I believe that you're new to the show. We haven't seen you in chat before.
So that was quite a cool little surprise, and seeing it tagged on Instagram.
Yes.
Killer.
Yes, welcome to the show, and thanks for helping us to promote. We'll be doing more of those in the future, but you can always help us promote the show by posting using hashtag Adobe Office Hours. All right, that's it for our announcements, I think. I think that we're almost ready to take the call, but again, one more time, we're going to be hanging out after the show right over here on our Discord. Gosh, there's less space than I thought with that point. We're going to be hanging out on our Discord, so make sure you join that. We'll hang out. We'll have a giveaway. I think we're doing another school supplies package this week. So we'll have a trivia question for you at the end of the show or after the show, and hang out in that voice channel to help win. All right, Nick, I think that it's time to take the call. Let's go ahead and run
I hear
that
something.
beautiful bean footage. Wait, we take the call first. That's how the bits work. All right, hold on. Oh, wrong button. Oh, there's a call coming in, Nick. We better take it.
Hey, what's up, Nick and Andrew? I need your help. My name is Mateo, and I'm a product photographer. I'm finishing my last semester at San Jose State University, so I'm very close to graduating. I've been doing product photography for a little bit over a year now, and it's been going great. But since I'm finishing my time at university, I want to take this side hustle into a main hustle. Do you guys got any tips?
All right, so Mateo is trying to get a side hustle to a main hustle, and I think we can do something. Nick, office hours to the rescue?
Office hours to the rescue.
All right, that's right. It is office hours to the rescue. Yes, alert, 100%. I feel like the video should come before the phone call. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll switch up the bit. It's all organic,
you tell
guys.
us.
There are actual people calling in live to this show.
You think this is all put together?
Yeah, what are you
Justin,
talking about?
come
yeah,
on.
yeah. You tell us what you want, and we'll make it happen. All right. So today we are hanging out and talking with Mateo, and some of the issues is he's trying to take his side hustle and make it into a main hustle, which I think a lot of you guys are probably doing in chat.
Right.
I think we've talked about it in Discord. A lot of people making transitions right now. And I have personal stories for this because I have just gone full-time freelance within the last 2 years or so. Nick, you've been on your own for a little while now, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a long time. And I think it's also that time of like, when is the right time to do it? And Mateo's doing it, thinking of this prior to even graduating. So I love this idea of like, if it's doing some great stuff for him and he wants to continue it, regardless of finding a job or not, he's really putting it out there to say like, this product photography is what he really loves to do. And what do you do to kind of get better and kind of hone in on that craft?
Yep. And yes, Mateo is in the chat. So if you guys have questions or
There
just
he is.
encouragements, you can drop them in
Yeah.
chat. I know that he is in there. So it's going to be a fun time having a little conversation, both with past Mateo on the videos and also present Mateo. We are surrounded by Mateo. So let's hop in. And
That's great.
Nick, this kind of episode's broken into 4 sections. So where are we starting with the first section of advice?
Yeah. So, Andrew and I were talking a little bit about this question. We were thinking, even down the road, we'd love to pop in and check in with other colleagues that we work with a lot, particularly if it's like photography or something that might not be in our wheelhouse. And I reached out to a good friend of mine. His name's Ben Shawnee, and you can find him at Ben Shawnee Creative. Yeah, I'm going to throw that in there if you guys want to look him up on Instagram. Give him some love here. But he threw in some great, really specific content to help Mateo when it comes to product photography, how to step your game up and things to do to be found better. And we'll start with the first tip. Are we ready to go?
Yes, and we are going to be looking at Mateo's social media. And so if you want to plug those, you can go ahead and drop those in chat, but we will be looking at those in a little while, Mateo. I believe that you're about to call in a little bit later with the question specifically about your website and social media.
We're seeing something in the future, aren't we?
Yeah. This is now a fortune teller show. All right, Nick, let's go ahead and get started and talk through some pro tips of taking your side hustle to your main hustle. Take it away.
Yeah. So the first tip we got was this idea of using strobe lighting, and you'll get the most absolute crispest and cleanest photos done in a professional way. I mean, we know it. I think lighting changed the game when it came to like just setting up your home office for doing any kind of streaming, right?
Oh, yes. This situation that's happening here was not what it was. And yes, just lighting is a whole nother level. And I think that we're actually going to look at a lot of examples at the end of this episode that use this kind of technique, the strobe lighting, having something that's, so in photography, 2 kinds of photography. There is constant light and there's strobe light. Strobe light is big hits, fill, everything's even. Constant light is a little more ethereal, if I will. And so strobe lighting, great idea when working with product photography. What else, Nick?
Great one. Another thing to do, these are all those little tips. When I was asking him for these different things, I was like, I would have never thought of that. And I think that's perfect. Like, these are the things that we want that are very specific. Always bring the tools to clean your products, the dust marks, the smudges, the oily hands, etc. It will save you a ton of time in editing. And I remember the first time I had to like art direct a photo shoot that was all of products of a client of mine. We were running back and forth because we're trying to do the whole thing with like the kind of have the water droplets on there and everything. And we found it was glycerin a mixture of glycerin and water was what you spray on it.
Yep.
So there we were. And next thing you know, we're building up this little toolbox, and it had like the microcloth, tweezers, all of these other little things that you're going to need. So having those tools on hand makes you so much more set up for anything that you're going to be doing.
Yep. And I've now gotten in the habit of cleaning the lens before shoots with a microcloth, and then also running the clean shutter on my camera. I did a photo shoot and got back and realized that I had to do a healing brush on every single photo because there was a spot that was on the lens that I had not seen. And so I got in the habit of, regardless if I see it or not, we're just going to do a quick wipe down there. And it literally was opening every photo that I was using, healing brush on this little black dot that somehow got on the lens and was there on every single photo. So
talk about all that extra time.
Yes, that is a pro tip. And here's the thing that I think, especially with photography, if you're shooting on site, and even if you're shooting with a studio kind of setup, it doesn't matter if it looks stupid. If it works, it's great. And so I've seen people that have like fanny packs or even tool belts that have all the stuff that you need. I love that. I remember seeing, so do you know Leica? The animation company. So Leica does stop motion animation, and one of their animators basically took a Nintendo Power Glove, right? That has like the little keyboard and stuff, and mapped the Power Glove to change like first frame, second frame, cuts. And so as he was animating frame by frame and taking these photos, he was able to take the photo, go to the next frame, go to the next frame, and it looked ridiculous, but it saved so much time from walking back and forth to the computer to see the things. And so if there's a way for you to automate it, even if it looks dumb, anything outside of the frame doesn't matter, right? Shoot for the shot and everything else doesn't matter.
What a great idea too. Like, it's such a hack. And when you, and that was made for that, right? Like, it's a perfect idea. I love it.
The amount of times that I've taken like a lamp or like set up a little hand mirror for a lighting that it's just like leaning on like a pile of clothes to like get the perfect like shot. I did a photo shoot that was kind of like a retro investigator kind of thing and wanted that like light across my eyes. And I literally took a shoebox and like cut a rectangle out of it and then held my phone behind it. And you're like, cool. Like, you'll never ever see the insane crappy light setup that's happening off the camera, but on camera it's like, ooh, the light is creeping through the window. It's all about that illusion of what you're seeing in the frame.
It's what the camera is catching, and everything else outside of it is a prop and a chicken wire with hot glue keeping it together, right?
Yes, absolutely. And Nick, this is a very important one. Next, this is just a word of advice to everyone when working with companies. Right? What do you do?
Yeah, and particularly it looks like Mateo's getting some luck and also putting out work on his own, saying, here's a product I like. I'd love to work with this brand. And he's doing some stuff out there and putting it into a photo shoot. Watermark your logo or something, your name on these things.
Yes.
One, it will travel with you everywhere that piece goes. And if someone shares it, or God forbid, someone tries to even take, credit for it, they can't. So watermarking and doing that on there. And I think this goes for everybody here. I've been learning to do a cool little watermark on the bottom of all my posts now that just is more informational based, but it also does give you that thing where it's stamping your brand and your seal on there. Do you do the same thing sometimes?
I don't. I don't usually put anything on my work. I'll tag myself and stuff.
There you go.
If it's stuff that I think is going to be shareable, I'll usually just tag myself or I'll put it in the caption or something. But I've found that people usually are good about attributing things, or at least tagging. But I think it's a different story when you're a photographer and you're shooting stuff.
Sure.
because I think design is one thing, and I feel like unless you're doing comp work for a company and they share it, then like there's, I think, more grounds to go after them than if you like did a personal product and shot someone else's product and then they use it. I think that, I don't know, there's kind of that dynamic of like, it'd be great if you have a watermark on it if they haven't commissioned you to do it, or even if they had, I guess, put it on it. So I think it's a good idea to put watermarks on everything. I just don't.
Yeah, and I think too, like even Christine asked, what's the best practice and where and how big?
Great question.
And I think with a photographer, in this case, it's more about if you're putting that work out there to say, I want to work with Disney, and he did some great product photography that involved them and some of their product, I would put something on there to just be there. So if they come across it, you're linked to it somehow, even if it gets away from comments and being tagged. And my choice would be like, do something very tasteful, but in a way that's on there that maybe just covers enough that however it was cropped, there's still that something to trail back to who you are. So it's not really for security reasons. It's more just to be, you're tagging your work. Yep,
I agree. And I think that if I'm going after a company, I treat it differently. If I'm just like celebrating them, like, oh, I like their work, I think it's cool, I just shot this thing. But if I'm trying to get work from them and go after, I'm very intentional with like, I'm tagging myself, it's in the caption, like the whole 9 yards is going to go on there.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on. What else we got, Nick?
Yeah. So when you have the shot ready, and I got to learn this too, because we've been doing some with some other photographers, and they've taught me that this is something to do. When you've set something up, you spent all that time. My thought is to take one shot, move it around, do whatever. The thing here is to take 2 to 3 different shots, maybe even 3 to 4. Shoot that product in a ton of different settings, a ton of different arrangements while you have the shot there. Like once you take it away, particularly if you're dealing with a lot of small things or some unique backgrounds or something, do as much as possible to have the right shot, because then you're sending it off. And let's say maybe this is a job that you're getting paid for. They might look at it and be like, ooh, I love that, but do you have one where the angle's maybe just slightly different? Chances are you're going to have it if you're taking a ton of shots. So I think for a lot of us, particularly if we're very spontaneous or we're working under a tight deadline, we want to make that like, oh, great, perfect, I think we got it. Take your time, do as many as possible, send it to them while you might be on the shoot. That's also a great thing. I think that's kind of them art directing from far away, but wouldn't you rather have them pleased with the artwork while you're there and you can change it?
Yep. And the great thing is you can send them a link to a Creative Cloud folder, and as you shoot, upload them to that Creative Cloud folder, and they will update live, and they're able to click and leave feedback on those photos. So Creative Cloud, literally, if you're not using Creative Cloud for storage, it is the world of difference, like huge world of difference. And somebody asked a question up in chat that I thought was interesting. I've never been a fan of watermarks. Is there another way to accomplish the same thing without having to slap a logo on the photo? I agree, Colby. And what I do is I tag myself and I'll use a hashtag of myself or my account, or put it in the caption. I kind of do all 3 of those. And so if I'm going after a company, it's the company tag, it's my tag. And because I don't like putting logo in the corner or watermark, so I try to tag myself. But again, they can still screenshot that and choose not to.
I wonder too, you could be very clever with the way you do it. Maybe it's in the background. Maybe there's something, that's what we do, right?
Yep.
Like it's just subtle and like subconsciously in the background or something. I don't know.
Yep.
It's just a great tip.
I've also done sliders to where the first image is the image, and then the second slide has the photographer credit, the designer credit, any of the like art directors, anyone that's included. That's a good way too, so that if they share, hopefully they take both and kind of upload that.
Cool. I think we got one last one on this topic.
Yes, continue on, Nick.
And first and foremost, keep the brand in the forefront, particularly if you're doing this for exposure and you want this brand to find you and you're taking some great product shots. I've seen this too, where and I think maybe we're so caught in doing the actual photography and the setup and maybe the arrangement, we didn't realize that maybe the brand wasn't front and center, or something else was taking over, particularly props, backgrounds, and the setting, maybe even models that you might have brought in there. So always make sure that brand is front and center. It's the hero, right? Just like any other thing you might be working on if you were to work for them and do something for them in the future.
Yep, it's all for them. All right, it sounds like we're about to get another call.
Oh, I hear it ringing.
Oh, it's, nope, that's the wrong button. There it is. It's ringing. Hello, Mateo. Let's talk.
Hey, I got another question for you guys. So I've been doing Instagram and TikTok, and it's been excelling my page like crazy. But I found myself in a creative block. Since COVID started with school and other responsibilities, there's a lot on my plate sometimes. What are some ways to stay motivated, especially if I want to make this my main hustle?
All right, cool. So his question was about trying to make it a main hustle, but hitting creative block, right? I think a lot of us are in that zone to where we're creatively just like, I think I'm done. Like, it's not like I need to push through. It's like, I think this is it. I think this is the end of my creativity. Are you in that zone, Nick? I know that we've both had like totally insane weeks. Are we like both just in a zone of like, I think we're done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like every once in a while, we were just talking about this with a group of college students at an event the other day. And the thing was, someone put it the best way. When this happens, that is a sign to not just say, like avoid and just keep working. That's a sign that you do need that break, and you gotta bust away and do something totally different. We don't give the creative mind like the break I think it should, particularly if you're going after long hours. You feel the same way, right?
Yeah, and that's I'm in the same zone, and that's 100% the thing that I like to do is to try something new. And I think this is great advice for anyone that is feeling burned out. And it's not just new, like within design or creativity, like I'm going to do whatever, just get out of your flow and experiment with stuff, right? Go to Target and buy like a 90 pack of Play-Doh and like make little people and like build a town.
Great idea.
Just get out and do something new. And I found for me that is helpful to kind of just reset my brain and not think about work for a little while. Go for a walk. My thing, and I've talked about this before, my thing is every day at 6:30 I go get the mail, which is such a small specific thing. But if I'm working, throughout the day and I'm somehow still going at 6:30, I'm like, oh, I need to go get the mail. And that's like a break.
Yes.
And then I'll grab dinner. I'll like hang out and then get back to work at like 9 or 10 if I need to finish stuff up. But having something in the day to help it break up, and then being able to just try something new on the weekend, take a day off, however you can.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, 6:30 p.m., Elizabeth.
PM.
6:30 p.m.
Good.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a 6:30 in the morning.
In the morning.
I thought there was only one during the day. There's two of those?
I like that you said Play-Doh. One thing I did was I was cleaning out the garage. We've had so much extra time over this last year, right? And I took a break and I found an old box of Legos. And I swear to God, it was the same thing as like you were saying with Play-Doh. It kind of got your creative juices flowing in a different way.
Yep.
And it was cool. And one thing I've noticed too is taking that break. Have you noticed where sometimes the ideas start flooding in when you are not doing your work and you're not sitting at your desk?
Yes.
And there was one time I literally had to run back up, and thank God for like field notes and other things. I was like, I have to write this down because I'm totally going to forget. And I would have never thought of it if I didn't take that break. So,
yep, 100%.
Totally worth it.
So my desk is a whiteboard. And I have notes written like all over my desk from just random things that I'm like, oh, I'm going to play a couple rounds of Call of Duty, or I'm going to, watch something on YouTube over here as like I'm kind of working on stuff here. And random ideas pop in your head. I find when I'm distracted by other stuff, there's somehow like an open space in my brain for things to just pop in. And so I'm kind of just like open to new inspiration as I'm working on current inspiration. And then I always have an area that's opened for like, oh, this idea just came in and I can write it on my desk and then come back to it later.
Yeah, that's great. I love that Mateo's jacket has taken over the chat. That's fantastic.
Oh, yes. Oh, Laura, my kiddos
cool.
have a train set, and this mama ended up putting the train set together to take a break. I was enjoying, yes. Here's the thing.
Oh, a train set would be perfect.
Yes, people with kids in the house, it's like the greatest break. So I live with a couple who has just about a 2-year-old, and it's the greatest thing to be able to like, oh man, work is stressful.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go downstairs and like throw a child into the air, and they're gonna like giggle and laugh, and then I'm gonna go back to work. Like, it is literally the best. So,
I love it.
Yeah, if you have kids, ultimate break.
I think it's time to buy either a train set or like the old Hot Wheels thing, and just have a blast around the office.
Yes, get the little like yes, that sounds.
I'll be on Amazon later. You'll find me there.
Right. Okay, so we've got two more things, and this show is actually going to end with like a million resources for you all to take home. We're going to give you people to follow. We're going to give you conferences to look at in the future, all kinds of ways. But before we get there, Mateo has another question about showing off his work, and this is where we're going to look at some of his work as well. So hello, Mateo, ring ring.
I got another question for you guys. So I've been recognized by brands such as David Dobrik's Perfume and Chamberlain Coffee. And right now I'm using my Instagram and my portfolio to show off that work. But I feel like my portfolio could use some help. What is the best way to show off my work online that is clean and efficient?
All right, so we're talking about showing off his work. This is kind of our zone. This is where we spent the first season. Yeah, we're back to first season. Season 1 throwback, y'all. This is the crossover episode. Going back to season 1, we talked a lot about portfolios and showing off your work. And so let's talk a little bit. This is where we're going to spend a lot of time looking at your work, kind of analyzing, giving advice. So again, the advice that we give is always hopefully applicable to everyone, but we're just looking specifically at Mateo's work. And Nick, you had some thoughts on just showing off work in general.
I think, yeah. And I was trying to think in mind of the photographer as well. And I know how hard that might be to make the case study and some other stuff, but hopefully these tips can help Mateo or anybody else out when we're doing this. Curating your book with some intention in mind. And I think the whole idea is to think of the overarching kind of story that you're going to say with your portfolio. So Mateo's got some great stuff, and I think you've got really good outdoor stuff too. We'll take a look at that in a second, but maybe you find a way to categorize your photography and turning them into these little chapters, and showing off the breadth of kind of the vibe you can do and things like that. Only show the best. Again, I think that goes for anybody showing stuff, and that consistency you do, particularly in like social media and where your work is housed, I think can make a big difference, because that's where that trust kind of comes in and people see it immediately. I think we've had enough experience now when we can look at something almost at the very first second and know if that portfolio's got a trusting kind of, something strong about it. And the other thing too is like maybe getting used to putting your work out there in more ways than just digital. And once we can kind of do this again, maybe putting your own photo exhibition together or something unique at a small gallery with other friends. I know I did that back in the day where we'd get 5 or 6 people, because maybe not one of us was maybe, good enough to have a show, but we'd put all of our resources together and do something like that. And over the years, this Show Your Workbook by Austin Kleon, I believe is the way you pronounce the last name, has been a real game changer. I know a lot of listeners of our podcast were recommending this and I picked it up. It's just a real good confidence booster. And I think sometimes as artists, we're still a little on that afraid side to show off that stuff, and having a little more confidence. How else are you supposed to do this, right? You've got to put it out there. What do you think?
I have 2 things to share. One is your team has said how to let go of perfectionism or doubt that might come right before posting some work. This is actually, and this doesn't apply to creativity. This more applies to my life in general, but I think it also applies to this question. So I was talking with my therapist about like a whole bunch of things. And he was like, here's the deal. Either this is going to happen or this is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. There are 2 options, and you'll never know which one if you don't try. Like, it's not like some question mark. It's like, oh man, I'm nervous about posting my work. Okay, if I post it, a plane is going to fall out of the sky and kill me. It's like, okay, that's obviously not going to be the thing. Either everyone's going to hate it, or people will like it, or it just like goes away. Like, something is going to happen. And so why not just see what happens? Because if you don't put it out there and you don't see what happens, then you'll continually convince yourself of like all 3 things at the same time. And you'll never actually get to know. You'll never get to know if you need improvement. You'll never get to know if you're being successful. You'll just live in a question mark. And so I know it's hard and you want it to be perfect and composed. And we give a lot of opinions about how to do stuff, but like, just do it. But on the other side of that, and this is what I was thinking when you were talking, and like, this is maybe a hot take. So like, maybe let's fight about it depending on what you think. I don't think that you should show work if you don't need to. I think that this is like a really hot take, because I think that there's a big push on like show work, promote yourself.
Give me more texture on
Yes.
that. What do you
so,
mean?
So I think that I don't think this applies to you, Mateo, because you are looking for work, you are looking to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a zone where you're like, cool, I am content with the work I'm doing, it's not all like show it off and post it kind of work. Because that's sort of where I am. There's like some work that I'm doing that I'm like, oh, I want to show this off, and it's big branding, whatever. And then there's a lot of kind of behind the scenes production and this kind of stuff. I think if you're not looking for work, I don't know if I would recommend posting work. In my opinion, okay. I like the idea of saving that work and then waiting until you need to post it and then showing it. I'm a big fan of like, if you don't have anything to say, don't speak.
Yes.
And I think
don't have anything to post.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I like to think that with my social media, that I'm like, cool, if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to post just to yell into a crowded room. I like to be very focused and curated with what happens. And so I think if you do have a pressure on yourself that you're like, I have to constantly be posting, really think, do I have to, or do I feel like I should be? Because I think those are two different things, right? If you don't have to, then don't.
I agree with you. And I'm in that zone right now where I can't show and I don't have anything to show new, being that it's not ready, or I don't have the rights to put it out there just yet, or the permission, right?
Ooh, Nick's working on secrets.
There is that pressure to want to do something, because I see that you could see the dip in social media when you are not consistent.
Yep.
And I don't want to give in. I don't want to give in to that and only post because of that. But again, I don't care what I have, and I don't care how many likes. I don't get work from social media in any way. I really don't. So
yes,
I like that pressure's off, and I will agree with you on that. But if you do care about likes and followers and engagement, it should be consistent. And I think a lot of folks will tell you that, but I agree in some ways. But I did want to give some fight to that.
Yes. I knew that was going to be a hot take. So, all right, let's take a look finally at some of your work. I can't believe that we haven't looked at anything yet. We've been building the suspense, I think, is what we've been doing.
He just called in. How would we have known what to look for?
Oh, that's true. We had no idea what we should be looking at. Here's your Instagram.
Can you send me that link?
Yeah, let me send you that link, Nick.
What are we going to look at first?
I'm looking for work and trying to build a network, so I think I need to post, although I don't create deadlines for myself to post. Yes, keep posting. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And building a network is huge, which you're actually great at, because you're always here in the streams. You're always active in the Discords. So you're doing great at building community, and we have some advice on that as well. Nick, let's take a look at his Instagram and kind of give some thoughts in general about presentation, about all the stuff that we love to talk about here on Office Hours.
I would definitely say my first impression is he's a photographer.
Yes.
I think that's number one. And I think there's your intention, right? You're telling me that. I love that you have been so kind of proactive in putting brands that maybe aren't a client, but you're doing the work with them. That's so killer. I guess as a designer, I'm maybe a little jealous of that. But then again, we could do that. We could rebrand brands. We could do graphics and things for them, but you are doing lifestyle and really cool things with them. And I think that's really cool. So far I'm digging that. And I think you've shown your personality quite cool with the shots of you. And I think sometimes it's the missing link. I want to see the human side of a creative. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. Yes. And I think that it's the perfect mix of like having just enough of personality, but then also flexing on like, also I'm really good. I'm nice and I'm fun and I'm really good. And I think that that's a good kind of balance. And even seeing like, as we scroll through, that we've got like, cool, there's some stuff down here that is you, that's kind of fun lifestyle. Here's a bunch of work back into lifestyle. And then I'm sure that it looks like, according to the pattern that you're doing, that you're about to go back into more work. And I think that that's a good balance to kind of do both. See, you got the Office Hours to the Rescue link here. 10 points. Extra credit. Nice. Extra credit to you, Mateo. Please see us after class.
You're hired.
Exactly. And I love that you are presenting the work as well as the process. We talk a lot about that, and I think that you do a great job at doing those two things. And we actually, I'm about to talk later about leveraging TikTok and kind of showing the process, and it looks like you do a lot of that, which I think is very important.
Yeah, right. And I love that you've got you have the Nike shoes with the cloud, and then right next to it looks like the video of how you did it. And same with the mango cart. Like, and I guess maybe it could be cool to always keep that format alive. So maybe you post something, get some likes the day after, 2 days later, show the process video, and people get used to wanting to see that. They know you're going to drop that afterwards.
Yep.
I always love seeing that with folks that do that, where it's like, show the beautiful stuff and then the background stuff, the behind the scenes. That's always cool.
And I think one of my favorite examples of that is Kevin Barry. Kevin P. Barry, I think. He's an animator. He does stop motion stuff, and he does exactly that, which I haven't realized until you literally said it, that it's always like, here's the big punch of the amazing thing, and then a couple of days later, here's how I did it. And I'm constantly like, see him post something and then wait for that next video knowing that it's coming. And that's a great idea to like just schedule that every time you're posting new work, you are waiting and then intentionally posting a behind the scenes or some kind of rhythm, so that you know one post now becomes 3 posts, becomes 5 posts, that you can kind of leverage that project so it isn't just like a boom, it's done. And I kind of try to do that to keep my grid aligned, to do like, here are 3 posts about the same thing. I know that Amy and Jen Hood do that as well. That they'll do a week so that it's like, oh, a new project from the Hoods on a Monday, then on a Wednesday we're getting another view, and then on a Friday we're getting another view. And they do a great job at
love the series,
combining those
right?
3. Yep.
Yeah. I'll challenge though on this. I would say too, where Mateo can really stand out is if you do something uncommon with the photography setup for the brand that you're doing. The way you will stand out more and get maybe hired by them if you do something that no one else is doing, I think. And that goes for all of us, right? But like doing something totally different and creative, maybe you can do a little design work over it. Maybe a friend can do some motion with it, but doing something totally different and like, wow, that's completely unforgettable. Then you have, I think, that better chance of it landing in the hands of Nike or something else. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I think that I moved over to your website, which is gorgeous. I believe this is an Adobe portfolio, so major props to you again.
Cool.
Adobe portfolio, again, if you guys aren't using it, it converts your Behance into a website. Amazing, great, really, really awesome and really clean. But I think that what I'd love to see is some of these in application. We talk a lot about context of how these would be used. And I think even with this David Dobrik thing, I'm guessing this is David's perfume. I'm guessing this is the David Dobrik thing. I kind of don't know who he is, but kind of do. But yeah, with this shoot, I would love to see it on a magazine, see it mocked up on a Subway ad, see it mocked up like on a billboard, something to give us, like, if David Dobrik sees this, you basically are going to inception the idea into his brain to use it, right?
Yes.
That it's all about, cool, it's not just the work and the design, it's about the application as well. I'm working on a cold pitch for a merch line for Southwest Airlines right now. And it's going to be, hey, here is the merch line. Here's the accompany things. Here's people wearing it. Here's people getting on the plane. Here's lifestyle of your planes and how it goes along with that. It's showing it in total context. And I think that the photography is really good. And I think that showing off the product is great. But I'm missing context in a lot of these. There's a lot of kind of... It's got the color. It's got the pop. It's really nice lighting. But I want to see a little more of a campaign. Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect example because I'm assuming you've got the progress bar of like the video kind of viewing thing on there. So maybe there's something unique you can do and say, set it up, show the initial sketch and the idea you were thinking of, maybe the behind the scenes setup of the shot, then the finals, and then like Andrew said, give us 3 versions of where this would go. Would it be in an ad?
Yes.
Would it be something? Would it be a promo on his site or on one of his videos? You name it. There's all of a sudden you've changed the game, and now it's like you have 6 different ways that you have elevated this to just more than 2 pictures.
Yep. And here's some advice I'm going to give you that I think would be interesting. Find a copywriter friend. I think that your photography is really great, and I think that it would sell better with good copy, or write copy yourself if you're into copywriting. Yeah. But like this Jaja? Haha? It's probably Haha. because it has the JAJA, and I love that you have the teeth. I'm guessing that that's what it is, but it's a really great shot. But I'd love to see
dying for a headline.
Yeah, it's dying for a headline, and I'd love to see a headline at the top or some explanation underneath of like, you know, I don't even know, the most fun like the second best thing to laughing or something that's, you know, that it talks
You'll laugh
about
your pants off.
What it talks about what the product is, but in a way that highlights your photo. And that's the great thing about copywriting after the fact, is if you have a great photo with a good concept, you write copy that goes to that concept, and it looks like you just had a genius idea based on this copy, even though it's the other way around. So really set yourself up for the home run by writing copy that supports your idea, because I don't think people read it that it's like, oh, they shot the photo and then wrote the copy. It's like, oh, they got the brief of this copy and then shot the photo.
Yes.
And it makes you look way better, I think.
We all remember the memorable kind of concept of the thing that it's just that, the creativity of image plus text giving you that pow. And I think that's fantastic. Like I just saw on the Pizza Hut box, it says, nobody throws a salad party. And I just thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And I'm thinking, Pizza Hut, wow, okay.
Yep.
Check one,
yes.
Right? That's the kind of stuff he's talking about. I think that would be great.
Yes. And okay, so somebody asked a question. I know they're on Adobe Live. They make the videos in Spanish too, but I don't know where to find them. I actually do think that is a thing. I think that there is somewhere that Office Hours is translated into Spanish, because I remember this being a conversation, and Lisa or someone let me know. I remember this being in like season 1 or 2. I think that there were episodes that were translated into Spanish. I don't know if it's still a real thing, but I have a faint distant memory, and also I've never seen it, which I would love.
Oh my God.
So
that's amazing.
Yes. Bienvenidos.
I need to know. I need to know. I want to hear how good it sounds.
Yes. Let us know if that's a thing. I may have completely made that up. And yes,
in the closed captioning?
Maybe. Who wants to be the copywriter friend? If anyone is a copywriter, hook up with Mateo and get some good copy on there. Okay, job. So I'm looking at the White Claw stuff right now. I actually think that this is your strongest work. I think that there is a lot of Lightroom and Photoshop happening here, but I only know that because I'm trained to see that. It looks like a professional, like, boom ad. And this is dying for just a giant one-word headline in that bright green, just right behind these limes, like masked out perfectly. Get that shadow still on the text. Something just says like crispy, refreshing.
Yes.
And that is going to take all the things I'm seeing with my eyes and make me able to like taste it, to feel it, to experience it a little bit.
The tropics, one line that would kind of start the whole conversation.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
Love that idea.
Yes.
That's great.
So there are some conversations with a Latin America team doing some captions. I don't know if it actually happened though. I will find out. Okay, cool. So maybe not, but maybe.
Yes.
We'll go back and do it once we learn Spanish. I know just enough to like barely get through an episode. Okay, cool. So let's talk about some more stuff, Nick, because we do have more things to cover.
We got a ton of stuff to kind of cover.
We do have a ton of things. So general advice, let's kind of give a summation for specifically Mateo. What things could we work on with portfolio, with work, that kind of stuff?
For consistency, correct? Is that what we're doing next?
Yeah, just in general for what we just looked at for portfolio, for presentation, for all that stuff.
Oh gosh, I think it's the stand out in a crowd, be as memorable as you can, drag in and bring in the other components that make a campaign. Because all of us do, a copywriter, a graphic designer, a photographer, a motion graphics person, we all do one part, bring something together and make something that I feel is going to be, it could really knock them socks off, because there's probably a lot of other folks doing the same thing you're doing. You got to stand out and make it bigger and better.
Yep. So we've got about 10 minutes left. And where I want to go with the last 10 minutes is talking about another question that Mateo has right now.
All right, maybe you guys can help me out with this one. I know to excel in social media, you got to be consistent, but sometimes it's hard. Do you guys have any tips for being consistent on social media?
All right, so we're talking about consistency on social media. Nick, we got 10 minutes, so we're gonna lose the bit and just jump right in. Go for it.
Boom. Great examples, guys. We want to make sure consistent voice, your branding and your avatars are all the same. highlight your advantage. What is the thing Mateo does better than anybody else? And make sure that's remembered, right? You could schedule posts in advance, because I know too, we're all kind of in that zone of like the busyness, creative blocks, don't have the time. There's great software to use there, but let's get into some really good examples. I love this idea.
Yes.
Draplin's been doing this for a while too. He has his own like custom frame that he uses on all his posts. He says it's a complete extra step that he has to do all the time, but it keeps a consistency among them. I love that he titles the post in all caps at the very beginning, and he has a voice and tone. He talks as if it's him talking. And I think Jen and Amy do it better than anybody. I love the way they talk in their descriptions and everything. It romances it. It tells everything about it. It's so good.
Yep.
So
at
great
Hoodspot
tips
Design for those of you that want to follow Amy and Jen Hood as well,
Correct.
for examples.
Yeah.
Next looking at another one. I'm actually talking about him too, so you can get started.
Yeah, I love that what Matt Dawson at Stay Gray Ponyboy does. He does this thing called Type Combo Tuesday. And when he mentioned about how many people reply back to him, they love this idea. He takes two type faces, shows a really great collaboration between the two, and he does this every Tuesday. So doing something like this that your people are now listening and waiting for, Mateo could do the same thing with some kind of unique thing on, I don't know, is it Mateo Mondays? Hey.
Yep.
There you go. So something like that would be really fun.
I like Mateo.
And then these other things too. Do a 100-day project. Do something that people will turn back and look and see the next day. They want to see what the next thing is. And then this is a funny one. I always see this one popped up on my Instagram. And it was this one guy, Joey, who does these 30 seconds of design. And they're hilarious. And he's really trying to build up. These are not big name folks, but they're just trying to build up really cool kind of return welcoming back people to their site for fun stuff on social media. Yep. So that's really where what I would say. What do you think, man?
I think don't force it. Like find something that feels easy. That feels like you want to do it all the time. Because if you have to force yourself to be consistent, like that goes back to my point that it's like, cool, don't do it if you're forcing yourself. Just like don't. Like then be like, cool, I'm not going to be consistent. And that's my decision. If you have to force yourself, then don't do it. But if you find something that's like, oh man, this actually feels fun and nice. Like Nick and I do the office hours promos every Thursday. I love being on camera. I love shooting those. And so it's something every Thursday morning. I wake up, we record our promo, and then we post on Friday, and it's like ready to go. And it's something that I'm like, cool, that's consistent. And if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't. But I love shooting them. I love promoting. I love having those little videos to help you guys get connected. And so if you do love it, stay consistent. If not, then don't.
Yeah. Like Matt loves doing that. And I think Matt even said he does a bunch of them in advance.
Yep.
So again, you'll find a way to do it. But I love that idea, dude. Like if you're forced to do it, forget about it. You will drop out so fast. It's like starting a podcast.
100%. Yep. And this, before we get into the next section, this is where I'm going to start highlighting, Mateo, my recommendations for communities for you and how to get involved in communities, because it's really important. And also for everyone else. I feel like community is kind of part of my zone, and I want to share that and hopefully bring you guys into those. If you have a problem, you can go right here, bit.ly/ohrescue, and submit your problem. We are doing new episodes. We have, I think, 11 episodes left in the season, and we'd love to fill them out. So if you have a creative problem, go submit it. No matter how small, how big, we'll make an hour show out of it, and we will help you solve your creative problem onto the rescue. So far, we don't have any submissions, and so it is open for all of you. If you have a problem, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get an episode. So make sure that...
Jump up.
Yeah, jump up. All right, let's talk community. This is where we're going to get crazy with links because I'm gonna have to go really fast. If you see someone, I will be posting this entire presentation after the fact. So screenshot it if you love it. If you love it, tell your friends. Cool. So here's some ideas. Community's key. You don't have to do it on your own. You need to grow your relationships and your reach will increase. Reach out to the people who are your heroes on Instagram or on Twitter. And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples for that. Reach out to them. Ask for advice. You're definitely in a point to where your work is really good, but you could step up to the next level with some great advice from industry professionals. Like 80% of industry professionals that I talk to have always been open to answering questions or giving feedback. So I'd say
they're very available right now.
Exactly. Yes. They're very available right now. If you are in a zone where you are, right, where you're on the precipice of like being really, really great and breaking through, ask for help because you don't have to break through on your own. There's community around you to help you.
Always.
Twitter, great place to look for feedback. I know that it's a nightmare sometimes, but Twitter and Behance are great places to post work and ask for feedback. Most creatives always down to give thoughts, and I found that Twitter is just a good place, but not posting the work, asking for feedback, asking for people who are willing to give feedback and then giving them the work. That's
There's
usually
a quick engagement there.
Yes.
There's just a quick engagement that happens, and your chances are better there, just the way you said it.
Yep.
For
I almost
sure.
always am like, hey, is anyone up to give some advice for work? And then I meet 10 new people who just randomly reply, and then I get to show them some of my work and get feedback and build that relationship. All right, continuing on. Communities for you. These are my suggestions. Adobe Discord channels, mod link drop is what I have on there. You actually have the Discord channel right down here. You can go there. We'll be hanging out there in like, oh my gosh, 5 minutes. So make sure you join our Discord for creative professionals. And Mateo, for you, also the Photoshop. There is Photoshop and Lightroom together in the Discord, and that's a great place to get connected, show off your work, get feedback, and you would be someone that people would look up to in that, I think. Your work is really great. So people would probably ask for your advice, and that's just going to help you learn through teaching. That's what Nick and I do on this show. We learn things all the time from teaching you guys things.
Exactly.
More communities. Clubhouse. There's a great clubhouse called the Artist Lounge. It's a good place to connect, and there are always different rooms going on in talks and communities. Follow Nick or I on Clubhouse. We both talk a lot in different rooms, and there's always great resources for you to grab on there. TikTok, you already covered this, show behind the scenes content, so I'm not going to talk about it. Conferences. All right, this is my favorite one. I love conferences. They're about to come back. The first one is Circles Conference. It's happening, I believe, in September. I have made almost all of my connections and people that I talk to and creative professionals and most of my work from conferences. I do Adobe streaming from meeting the Adobe team at conferences. Nick and
How did you meet the co-host of Office Hours?
Yes, Nick and I met together at this conference called CropCon, which is the pop-up, which is our next slide. We literally went to the same conference. We hung out. We had a beer, got some tacos, became friends. Hey, what if we pitched this show to Adobe to do on Fridays? And we're almost a year in now to helping. So yes. Slam dunk. You never know what's going to happen. And I think conferences are the number one thing to me to get involved in communities. Follow them on Instagram, get connected, and then go to conferences once they open back up. It is a huge, huge deal. 100% go. My favorite, Creative South. Creative South isn't happening until 2022, but it's always in April. I'm the host. I'm the programming director, so I have insider scoop on this. Creative South is my favorite. Creative South is all about connection, all about community, gets you connected. It's in Columbus, Georgia. So check that out as well. Continuing on, people who are community advocates. These are people to reach out to if you want to get connected. Literally send them a DM like right now and be like, hey, I'm looking to get connected with product photographers. Who do you know? And I guarantee that like they'll come back with somebody at some point. Matt Dawson, first one. Stay
Best
Great
guy
Pony
in the
Boy.
business.
Yes.
Yep.
And okay, here's the thing. If you're looking for links, Instagram.com/whatever the thing is that's going to be on the screen. I'm so sorry to everyone who's having to deal with this. Cody, we love you. Okay, second up, Dan Petty. Dan Petty is an amazing community advocate.
Super committed.
Super committed. I believe his conference called Epicurence is coming back. They've been tweeting and posting things, so like maybe it's coming back, right?
A little tease, yeah.
But he's an awesome person to just follow. He has awesome communities. He has Epic Jobs, which posts jobs for creatives, and is just like the biggest creative advocate ever. His website is inspiration that highlights other creatives. Great to get connected. Next, these are photographers to follow specifically for product photography. Mateo, these are specifically for you, people to reach out to. It looked like you were in San Jose area. So Patrick Yandok is in Southern California, but still a great person to reach out to. Incredible photographer, does a ton of product photography. He's worked a lot with Amy and Jen Hood. And he's a great person to follow, get connected with, and talk to him. Next up, Alicia Colon. Nick, you know Alicia, right? Do you know Alicia?
Oh, yeah. We did a talk together last week.
That's right.
She's amazing.
So she does a lot of paper craft stuff, but also shoots all of her own stuff. She has some great behind the scenes of her editing process, which is awesome. So check out Alicia as well.
Can I also add, she turned her love of what she does into a product.
Yes.
So she makes paper kits. So again, Whole other stream of revenue.
Yep, and we're going to 327 today, guys. We're gonna take the band hammer, and I'm just gonna
do
eat
it.
Go. Julia Stoats. She does a lot of great work for a company called Brightland that makes like oils, but her product photography and food styling is gorgeous. Everything looks so delicious. It's well lit. You can see some dramatic lighting on the left. You can see some more even lighting on the left or on the right. Other way around. What I just said. But it's gorgeous. Check out Julia. And that's it. We did it. Whew. 325, y'all. We made it to the end. What perfect timing. So yes, Alicia does stream on Behance too. So make sure you follow her on Behance as well.
Correct.
We will be going over to our Discord right down here below me, bit.ly/ohrescue. We'll be going to Discord in about 5 minutes. We'll hang out for, 15, 20 minutes, do some giveaways there, hang out with y'all and kind of follow up. We covered a ton of things today. So I'll be exporting a PDF and uploading it into our Discord as well. So Nick, what do we have to look forward to next week? I love doing this because neither of us know.
Because neither of us know. But I bet we are going to solve someone's design dilemma.
We are going to solve someone's design dilemma by them submitting their problem at the link that you can find right over here, bit.ly/ohrescue. Submit your problems, and we will see you next week here on Adobe Office Hours. To the rescue. We did it, y'all. See you later.